decided on Saturday to go for a little ride. Not sure where I was going to go first. So I headed up to the airport and just took a scan of the city. Pretty cold morning as the temperature overnight dipped into the -30 with the wind chill. But overall I was dressed appropriately, so decided that I would go for a little ride in some parts of the city that I was comfortable with. So I headed out from the airport here, and you can see by the wind on the flags that it is a very windy day and an overcast day with the sun just poking through. Right up behind the airport was the old road, I guess, and as you can see by the sign on this winter trail, Port Hope Simpson was 42 kilometers away. So I just made a trek that way, never went to Port Hope Simpson, went into shortly behind Porcupine Pond and then headed back home. I guess a distance total of about 15 kilometers. Here you can see where the new road now to Pinson's Arm, and I would have to cross it to get to the other side of the road that would lead me to Porcupine Pond and on out to Notley's Pond if I were to travel on out that way. The signage on these trails show that they were the main source of travel in years past, and they would have turns designated as well as all speed limits were about 50 kilometers an hour, and so these were very well used in years past. Then I come up on Porcupine Pond and just stop to look at the scenery as well as some of the rabbit tracks that are in the area. And for sure some people have, maybe even a couple of my students have put out slips and snares to try to catch some rabbits. And in the next couple of slides you will see that where there's been a couple of slips set, and then you can see where one rabbit was caught. But overall it was a good trip out and around the countryside, just getting used to, as I would say, the lay of the land. And here you can see the rabbit that would be going into somebody's soup pot. Here I just take a little bit of video going across the bog to give you some sense of traveling. And you can see more signage here as I make my way, continuing up to Notley's Pond, which is just shortly above where I stopped here now, just to give you an idea of more signage as well as different forks in the trail that would take you sometimes to the same place, but sometimes they would take you to places like Pinson's Arm or out to the bay or to Port Hope Simpson. But anyway, a good 15 kilometer trip, and while I was stopped here I met one of my students. Overall, a great trip, although short, very good trip.